You remember exactly what you told yourself it will feel like, right? And then it happened and it didn't. You've been building toward this thing for months, years even. The launch, the number, the milestone, the thing that was supposed to change how everything felt. And there was this flash of something when it arrived. Relief, maybe? A moment of satisfaction? A few, hey, you did that? Good messages that felt good to read? And then disturbingly fast, it was all gone. Replaced by the next goal, the next deadline. That same low hum of not quite there yet was supposed to disappear, once this thing arrived. If you've lived this more than once, I want to just say one thing before we go any further here. This is not a sign that you need a bigger goal. It's a sign of something else entirely. Let's talk about it. So, there is a particular kind of disorientation that shows up when your output keeps climbing and your internal experience don't move with it. You can point to real evidence of growth, right? Your body of work, the audience, the business, the creative output that you've built. By any external measure, you're doing it all. And yet there's a strange, just flatness underneath it. Some sense that you're producing from somewhere increasingly further and further apart from that part of you that wanted to make any of this happen in the first place. This is what I call the output to feeling gap. And it tends to widen the longer you push through without addressing what's actually causing it. It's not a sign that the work doesn't matter. Trust. It's a sign that you've been creating from a disconnected place far long enough that the connection itself has gone quiet. Not gone, just quiet. Buried underneath deadlines, metrics, and the next thing. Now, early on, achievement used to feel good. The first real win, the first recognition, the first time someone told you that your work mattered to them. Those moments landed. But for lots of creators and builders, something shifts over time. The achievements keep coming, sure, and the feeling they were supposed to produce somehow keeps shrinking. Now, it's not because you've become ungrateful or jaded. It's because achievement was really never the thing generating that feeling in the first place. Connection was. Connection to the work, to your own creative source, to the people receiving what you made. When that pace of output increases faster than your capacity to stay connected to why you're making it, you end up with more output and a lot less feeling. Now, the math doesn't reverse just because you produce more. It actually tends to widen the gap. So more output without more connection just means more distance traveled from the source. This pattern rarely is just about output. It's almost always tangled up with isolation. Not necessarily feeling alone. There's a quieter kind of disconnection that can happen even when your calendar is full. You can be surrounded by collaborators, an audience, a team, a community, and somehow still feel like no one is actually seeing the parts of you that are tired, uncertain, or quietly wondering if any of this still means what it used to. Many creators and builders perform a version of themselves that looks energized and certain, because that version is what work seems to require. And that gap between performance and the actual internal experience is exhausting to maintain alone. So over time, this kind of isolation doesn't just feel lonely, does it? It cuts you off from everything that used to generate creative energy in the first place. Real, unguarded connection. Now, a common instinct here is just to assume the fix is produce less, slow down the pace, take a break. Now, sometimes rest really does help. But for many people, that break alone does not close the gap. They come back from time off, the work resumes, and the same flatness returns within like a few weeks. And that's because the break never addressed the problem itself. It addressed only the symptom, exhaustion. And without addressing the disconnection underneath it, that actual shift, again, it's not about volume or output. It's about rebuilding the relationship between you and the source you're creating from. Your body, your nervous system, your sense of purpose, your actual creative aliveness. So that work can come from connection again, instead of from momentum alone. You see, that's a different kind of work than rest. And it's the kind that actually holds. Because you don't need to produce less. You don't need to want less for your work or your impact. What you need is the wanting itself to stay connected to something real, instead of running on fumes, dressed up as ambition. So, between now and your next video, notice whether the work that you're doing right now is coming from a place of connection or just the next deadline. Just notice different. That's enough for now, okay? If any part of this names something for you that you've been quietly feeling inside, that recognition matters. You know, each month we host a Super Sunday, and the link to that is in the description. It's a simple entry point into this kind of regulation work, reconnection, and the things that help you to close this gap. Also, below you will have another link, and this one is especially for creators and builders who are ready to rebuild the full architecture of creative life that feels as alive as it looks on paper. Now, that deeper work happens inside of Ecstatic Lifestyle OS. The link, like I said, is in the description below. If this sort of rest won't fix it pattern is what landed for you most today, we go even deeper on that in the video that's linked somewhere around here. So go ahead and watch that now before this energy dissipates. My name is Destiny. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. Remember, one breath at a time. Peace.